All right, what is up, everybody? So, Shadow Scout here with Emperor Atlantis and Anthony Estrada, or the Chosen One, from the Discord. And we wanted to come today to you guys and kind of talk about the Discord itself and talk about kind of some units that we are looking forward to and units that we like in different factions. And, I'm definitely, as I was telling them, an Empire player and a Rebel player and not quite so much of a CIS and Republic. So, I wanted to invite these guys on who definitely know more about those factions than I can, or that I know, and can tell you guys a lot more, about those factions. So that's what we're going to do today. And first, we'll go ahead and talk about the Discord. So if you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord. Go ahead and start putting up any kind of conversations you like, any lists you like, any kind of requests like general chats or list building. We've got everybody here who does a lot to help and just talk about the TV show that are going on, and we've got a whole media page that you guys can start talking on, and it's fun. Anything that you guys like to talk about, go ahead and head there. And we're all here to be able to help you guys. I know Emperor Atlantis and Anthony, you guys definitely chime in a lot, which is I'm very thankful for. And it's finally nice to get to see you guys in person. And then also, if you haven't already, y'all guys can, or all of you guys can head to the Clan of Shadows Patreon and get some extra little videos that I'm posting as much as I can and on the side, as well as getting these videos a little bit earlier. So, yeah, that is the Patreon and the Discord. And then also, just real quick, if you haven't head to theburnacademy.com, go ahead and head there for, $15 a month. You can get 3, 4, 5, 6 day week workout plans, corrective exercise programs, 30-minute torture program, 120 different recipes, coaching videos, and a whole lot more, making yourself look like a pro in the gym. But yeah, that's mostly it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start this up. So, Emperor Atlantis and Anthony, we'll go ahead and get started.
What's up?
You guys have
Glad
basically
to be
been
on.
here since the very, very beginning. I know Emperor's been here since day one, basically, and Anthony short right after that. So go ahead and introduce you guys, and tell the world a little bit about yourself. Whoever wants to go
Who
first
wants to
will.
go first? Rock, paper, scissors for it? That's okay. I'll go first. That's fine.
All right.
Like Shadow said,
Good for
I'm Anthony. I've been playing since about July, August of last year. And kind of ironically, I think your channel was like one of the videos that I started to watch because I had no idea how to build lists or how to play. So it's kind of in tandem with you and some other like Gray Squadron Gaming kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I think like whenever you would post a video, I would kind of be like, oh, nice. Like that's probably how I could do that. And I would go out and play and I'd be like, maybe that wasn't the greatest idea. But I think what was refreshing was like having different variations of certain lists. That way you can always come back and take a look at stuff. But anyways, going back, so like I've said, I've been playing for about almost a year now. It's almost going to be a year. Yeah, last July. Um, I started out with CIS. I like CIS, like the order control. But then I went to clones, and now I just love clones. Like I just can't get enough of them.
Yeah, they're so hardcore. Like the red saves and then token sharing, that you can do so much, especially with the fire support. The dice pulls that you guys can get are insane.
Yeah, we'll get back into the red saves later, but yeah, I think they're pretty solid.
Yeah. And then Emperor.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing for 1.5 years, I believe. And I stumbled upon your channel. Back in the day, I didn't know the mechanics very well, and I wanted to like branch out my knowledge, my turn zero knowledge, going to my local events in a way that people don't need to explain the rules to me. Because everybody's really friendly in this community. I used to play Lord of the Rings from Games Workshop back in the day, and that I'm gonna be honest, those people were kind of toxic. So it's really refreshing to see such a great community. And while I stumbled upon your videos, interacted with you, interacted with other people in the comments, and now we're here.
Yeah.
The more experienced players. I'm definitely not pro. Usually I go on a WhatsApp group from my locals if I don't know a question, get some feedback from them. One of them was at Worlds at the Adepticon. He didn't do very well, I believe, but he's quite good. So I can always ask them.
Yeah, it's a tough when you're going to tournaments like that. It's you're facing off against some pretty tough people there.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, and if my accent is a bit bad, I'm from the Netherlands, so please and I have dyslexia, so if I can't come up with the proper English or American words, sorry for that.
Hey, don't apologize. It's really cool to have people from all over the world basically watching this and coming together to play a game. And I always think that that's pretty fun. But all right, we'll go ahead and get started. So I kind of wanted to talk today with everybody about, the top 3 units that I would say is in kind of like each faction. And, I can definitely talk about Empire and Rebels all day, not quite as much CIS and, the Separatists, or, yeah, CIS Separatists or the Republic, clones. And as you can see here, probably, the I've got like 60 lists and 71 lists for Rebels and Empire, but then like half that for Republic and Separatists, because there's, I guess, more units in Empire and Rebels that kind of just, there's so many things to do, and you're kind of stuck with certain niches with Gar and Separatists. So what do you think are the 3 top lists or 3 units for Republic and for CIS? And just
Well, I already know of the bet for CIS. I mean, Anthony, you have more experience with Gar than me. I have Gar at home, but I didn't play it that much. But for CS, it's got to be Magna Guards on top.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Magna Guards are almost an auto include if you can have them.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think for top 3, at least for me and Gar, it's kind of hard to not include Padme in the list just because of what she can bring as far as, and you hinted at it earlier, token sharing. She's really, really good as a support. Um, Sometimes you can get her in the mix of things, and that's not where she wants to be. I've learned the hard way not to really put her up in firing range of anybody because she'll get deleted. She does have white saves, and although her profile is pretty good, she has sharpshooter 2 and I think nimble. She's pretty squishy.
Yeah.
So, and I think only one of her command cards gives you danger sense, and that's like only danger sense 2. So it's not
Yeah.
great to have her in the front lines. But yeah, Padme is definitely number 1. Number 2, I would say, is probably the Bark. Like that's also something that, as a Republic player, you should probably try to look into adding. Naked, especially, they're speed 3. They can get to places. They're great fire support starters with the native surge to hit. You can throw an ion gunner or an RPS in there. It will lower the speed, but I think for what it offers, just as itself at 55 points, you can load like 2 or 3 in almost any list and still have a fairly decent bid. And then the third one, it's kind of objective. I mean, I don't know if we can say core is top 3, but I do like the phase 1 clones. The 52 points. They don't have as decent of weapons as, well, actually, not, take it back. They do have the better weapon in the DC 15. It's range 1 to 4. Has critical 1. So I would definitely say I would put that in my top 3.
Yeah. DC 15s are performing really well after the points changed.
Yeah, so like I'm so glad that happened. I was like, all right, sweet. We're gonna add like 3 squads of DC 15s in here. I'm kind of I wish that the phase 2s had the DC 15 as well, just because we've seen them with DC 15s. It doesn't make sense to not have them, but that's
in the lore, I believe.
There.
In the lore, I believe they had more DC 15s as phase 2s also. So it's weird they left that upgrade. I mean, the mortar is nice though.
The mortar is nice.
I don't believe we saw the Z6 in the movies, so I always thought that was an odd choice.
Yeah, I know that the Z6 kind of, there was a scene where they were on a landing platform and Dooku was on the way and he sent in a few of those commando droids, and I think one of the...
Yeah, with the Coruscant Guard, like that guy going ham. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what scene.
Yeah.
That was you guys
that was a good one. Yeah, they did really well with the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's
one of my favorite Star Wars things.
Yeah, I don't know why you can't add the extra heavies from the phase 1s into the phase 2s, because you would think that, from phase 1s transferring to phase 2, they would still keep the same weapons. They wouldn't get rid of some of the things. So it's kind of, it makes it tough for list building and to have some extra heavies from phase 1s not on to phase 2s.
Yeah, I think they should probably, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think if they add more personnel slots and heavy slots, well, they're adding more personnel slots, but if they do that, you can also circumvent the fact that you only have phase 1s and phase 2s. So you still get some variety in your troop choice. So I think it's logical that they do that at one point. Otherwise, they need to like put in Planetary Defense Force, like some kind of rebel-ish unit in there. Maybe in a battle force they could do that, like adding some rebels, like with different heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. I feel like they should probably get like the same treatment as Echo and Fives. They're basically the same core. If you break it down, one just has reliable one and
Yeah.
more courage. So I mean, like that's fine. But I think you should be able to interchange them. So instead of having like phase 2 mortar trooper, you can just say clone mortar trooper or clone Z6 trooper. That way you can interchange them. Because I mean, Echo and Fives, I mean, they're technically ARC troopers, so I don't understand. Like they can go into ARC trooper squads and phase 1 and phase 2 squads as a heavy. So I mean,
Well,
if
in
they
the
could,
lore,
if they
ARC
could
troopers
all,
were commanders, so it's logical they can become a leader in a normal squad. I think that's why FFG did that back in the day.
that's fair. So then maybe just restrict the phase 2 and the phase 1s interchangeable as just heavy weapon slots, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
that
what I'd
could
say.
be a solution.
It would just
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
easy.
And interesting.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
definitely.
a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And so now, what about the top 3 CIS or so?
Well, Magna Guards, we already had that one. Personally, I think if you're a newer player, especially, you gotta have the super tactical droid, and especially the generic one. And a lot of people are sleeping on this, I think. But the generic tactical droid has the override and the AI direct, and so you can combine it. It's just awesome for control. I mean, you give up some offensive capabilities because you don't have Sharpshooter 2 with the bombardment, and you have Strategize 1 instead of 2. Nor do you have the Pierce or the melee stats of Kraken, but for control it's superior, and it's 5 points cheaper. So usually it slots in just that bit easier, because it's 5 points is a lot. I mean, if you want to take a comms relay or something, it's basically like free,
Mhm.
So I really love that one, and I think more people should use the generic super tactical droid.
Yeah, I think for the order control, the fact that it can go ahead and direct one of the core troopers, it just sets off the daisy chain immediately, and you can skip out on HQ uplink on one of the core, and then you have bolster as well. But it just kind of depends. I know that.
Strategize. Yeah.
Say what?
Strategize.
Strategize
Bolsters,
for the super.
generic T series.
Oh, that's right, because it's given out to.
One aim and one dodge, unless it's Kalani, he gives out 2. I'm not sure what Kraken does. I believe Kraken also gives 1.
I think it's also 1. He may have override. I think he has override 2, where the regular one has override 1.
Yeah, Kraken has a broader range where you can activate with override 2. But override is so good, because if you have like you have your daisy chain, but you want to take multiple special forces. Like if you have some BX sniper squads and like you put them in cover and like they're near the super tactical droid, they can still like take an aim. That's awesome. But I mean, Kraken and Kalani are also really good. I mean, you can only bring 1 anyway, so that's definitely my pick.
All right, and then your third one.
You want to do the third pick, Anthony?
The third pick for CIS, man. That's kind of tough. I think.
I have some ideas, but
I mean, right now, the way that the game's played, I would definitely say Asajj, because she definitely does change the way that CIS does play in a sense. I mean, the fact that you can kind of just go between either getting her, what is it, the Makashi Mastery, or not even that, to get Dooku's Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Makashi Mastery and
Makashi.
Demoralize 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Or if you want to stack like a double bounty list with like a Cad Bane or a Bossk, and then just get the bounty. Like a Jedi type character with Force abilities as a bounty hunter is already insane. Like I've played a few games where people have played Asajj with the bounty keyword, and they've just gone and destroyed my core.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of tough. But yeah, I would definitely say Asajj could definitely get up in there.
Yeah, the downside is if you take bounty, she loses the free outmaneuver. For me, that's the most valuable thing. Not even the Makashi Mastery. I don't care about that. I mean, free outmaneuver. That's great. But I can see if the enemy doesn't have a Jedi, I agree with you. You can take the bounty. Usually I take her with Cad Bane these days, because Cad Bane is so cheap. I mean, that was one of my picks also. Cad Bane cheap, has a lot of mobility, a lot of dodges. I mean, he's tanky, not the best kind of tanky. He still has wide saves, just like Padme. But I mean, if you're not too aggressive with him and wait for your moment to strike, then he can be really good. And especially if you don't put him down with the 3-pip and you wait with the bomb or the teleport, you can do some really nice tricks. I'm experimenting with that lately, and I'm pleased with that. And again, Cat is so cheap. I mean, like fully decked out, he's only like what
110,
120 points?
120, maybe breaking that. Yeah,
About that.
it's pretty
Depends what
pretty
you grade.
dangerous.
Yeah, he's so great.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind
like
of biased
Cad.
towards Cad
Yeah, I think Cat Bane is good too in Empire, but I mean, in Empire you have better options with Boba Fett and Din.
Right. So I think Cad is even better in CIS than anything else, especially with having the comms relay, where if he were to get that order, if you were to reveal him, then he could just set off a chain for the CIS immediately, and that's always really nice. Like I said, I played against someone who did really, really well against me with a CIS Cad Bane, triple bikes, and all that stuff, and it was brutal on getting beat like that. But yeah, he does. Cad is wonderful in CIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently made a list with Cat Bane and just tried to get my activation count as high as possible, and I ended up like with 14 activations, and it didn't even look that bad. Like with triple stabs and 6 battle droids, Cat Bane, a few tactical droids in there. I mean, I really want to try that list.
Hey man, try it. Let me know how it goes. Because I think another thing that's kind of like stabs. I think they should probably make a comeback here, especially with now the way that the game is right now. I think somebody took to Worlds a triple stab list. They gambled. I think they were playing against Empire, ironically, and then gambled and tried to get a like their commander, the generic commander, like wiped on turn 2, but the commander rolled just enough paint to survive, and then the bikes just got eliminated after that. So I feel like if you play them right, they can last almost all game. But yeah, the fact that they can coordinate to troops and other vehicles is pretty huge.
Yeah, and the critical tool is really valuable. I mean, I think last year they were less valuable, especially how the meta was last year. With the heavies and stuff. But I think the steps gonna get how you said it, gonna make a comeback. Like
and they have Agile 1. People forget. So
Yeah.
if you triple move and you don't set anything up, or you're trying to set up a shot for the next round, you got 3 dodges on you plus cover.
Compulsory move isn't a standard move, right? Because Agile only triggers off standard moves.
No, I think you do get it on the compulsory move.
Okay, because it says after you perform standard move, gain 1 dodge token. I'm not sure.
I think a compulsory is considered a standard. I'm not. As far as I know.
Maybe you I need to look that up. Well, still,
you can hit the CRB.
Still great.
Yeah, and I think they play well with Blizzard Force objectives, kind of like breakthrough and bobbing run and stuff like that, because you've got 4 bikes, and CIS they'll have 3, but I think that at least they stand a chance playing the same objectives with that triple bike, which is why I think it could be very valuable.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard Force is a very weak matchup for CIS. You really need to bring all you have against them. I mean, those HRUs just do so much damage on such a long range. The bombardment spells, if you have like strike teams or anything fragile, it just gets deleted before you can do anything. So I agree. Step Riders are a really good counter to, in terms of firepower against speeders. And I think for the objectives, you're not in that big of disadvantage either, because if you play breakthrough, you have more activations. So assuming some things survive, you're still up, like in the chance to score points. And with bombing run, there are only 3 bombs, and you move.
Put them on the steps.
Yeah, with the dodgers, if it's like the enemy bikes and your steps move like this, and you both carry the bombs, the steps probably survive because of the dodge token. So I don't think that's. I think it's doable, but it's hard. It's a hard matchup.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, we can go ahead and let's see. Let's see the 3 top. I think Empire units right now obviously would be like Vader. I think that seeing him at Worlds as well and how often he was used in so many different lists. And Vader's he's got six command cards, right? So
Yeah, and they're great.
yeah,
They're all good.
they're all amazing. And so yeah, you're always going to see him. And I think Operative Vader obviously over Commander Vader, but Commander Vader's still awesome with core. So if you just plan on bringing core units, especially kind of like either snows or anything like that, I think that they'll benefit more with the compel core with Commander Vader, and you could do so much if you stack out your core. But yeah, so Vader I think is like your number one. Boba Fett obviously is number two because he's now kind of got more command cards that make him a leader and not just so much by himself. Because his new 1 and 3 pip with the Rebel Boba is basically you can give it to other people and then add an extra dice. So it's not just all about him. And then his 1 pip, if you give him the order, I think someone else does a speed 1 move, or if you were to give it to somebody else, he gains marksman kind of deal, or vice versa, one or the other. But that's really good, especially combined with Dark Troopers to be able to get that extra speed 1 move forward, and or using with the Dark Troopers to get that extra black dice every time they shoot, which would be twice. And so now you've got 2 units that can attack twice with an extra black dice, and then you've also got maybe if you've got snipers or a core unit or someone else in there, they're going to get an extra little black dice. And so I think Boba Fett does very, very well. And then kind of lastly, I think Iden, honestly, is probably one of the other ones because of the fact that she's basically got a sniper rifle with infinity range and marksman, which can make 2 crits, and it's already pierced. You don't have to spend anything for lethal. And then she's got ID 10, which gives her that extra health and an extra shield. And then she's got nimble and quick thinking, so she's always going to be able to gain that aim and dodge and then shoot and always have that dodge. So she's pretty tanky, especially with outmaneuver or situational awareness on her. She is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, she's more tanky than Darth Vader because she's 6 health. With the ID 10, she's 7, and she has shield, that's 8, and the shield can recharge. And she has the quick thinking. So, I mean, Darth Vader does have the reliable too with command cards, but Ainet's very tanky.
Yes. I've used her quite a lot, and she's survived those little whenever just that 1 crit gets through with that dodge and that situational awareness just cancels it. And yeah, I'm one of the guys who I play, Tyson. He knows exactly how often I would use that, just because she's really good. And then for Rebels, I mean, I would say Operative Luke is really good. I think we're going to see a huge increase in Ahsoka's, possibly because of the amount of crits that she can dish out and the amount of dice that she could possibly have, especially with her 1 pip, dealing out up to possibly 10 dice, and then having that dodge marksman. And then she's giving out a dodge to anyone who's getting shot at range 1 of her. And then her 3 pip is also allowing people to gain aims and dodges, and each time that she's playing any of her command cards, she's getting an order, which gives her a dodge. And it's going to be great to give all of that out, but I'm just worried about, she's got the dodges, but she still can't cancel crits unless you were to take situational awareness because she's got the 2 training slots, but then you possibly take away tenacity and or into the fray or seize the initiative or something like that, so that because playing seize the initiative, she's going to gain a dodge anyway because she's giving herself that order. And that way, basically, since she's got 4 command cards, you have seize. That's 5 turns that she gains an order and a dodge, and you've got perfect order control on her every time. So,
I have some thoughts about that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. It's just an opinion, but if I look at her profile and her costs, there are 2 routes you can take. You can go very offensively with the 10 dice and bring tenacity and all that good stuff. You have a very powerful offensive tool, but still some defensive utility. Or you can go full defensive, don't take tenacity, but get that outmaneuver, maybe into the fray or something. Force barrier. I don't know. You can only activate it twice. Maybe it's better to bring something else. But I mean, she can get. It can be played in both directions, and she's not that costly. I mean, you still need to bring a commander because she's an operative. I think that's the biggest thing. That's holding her back at the moment, especially because a lot of people want to run her with Sabine. Everyone I talked about wanted to run her with Sabine. Everybody loves Mandos. Everybody loves Sabine. Her colors and everything. So, but I think she's really good. you see the Obi-Wan lightsaber profile. And you're like, okay, well, but then you see the command cards. And you're like, oh yeah, all right, I see what's happening.
Yes, especially with the
Yeah,
Jarkai.
Tiny bit of power creep,
You're saying,
in
Anthony?
my opinion.
Ooh, sorry.
Oh, I was saying, yeah, especially with her lightsaber profile. It's basically Obi-Wan's, but better because she has native surge to crit, which is crazy. And then I don't know if it's her.
Oh, yeah,
I think it's her
forgot
one
about
pip. She can add up to 3 white dice per however many dodge tokens she has. So if you give her an order, that's 1. And I want to say that card gives her agile 1, and she has charge. So you move. You have 3 dodges. You add 3 white dice, and if you have tenacity on her, that's 10 dice.
Mhm.
So that's 3 red. Is that 5 white and 3 black, right? About 10 dice.
2.
Maybe.
2 black.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2, 2, 2. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what 5 white, 3 red, 2 black.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Search to crit.
Search to crit.
Impact 2. Pierce 2.
And then
you
you,
still
Yeah,
get 4 dodges to convert to crit.
yeah, I was about to say, and you can spend those
Yeah.
dodges to convert to, yeah.
Something's gonna get deleted or hurt. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I think she was definitely needed to bring life back into Rebels. Not saying that people don't play Rebels. I think a lot of people actually brought them to Worlds. And I want to say a Rebel made top 16. I don't know if they made top 8 or not, but they're there. They do survive.
It's just tough. Shadow Collective, the Pikes have outmaneuver already, and then they gain independent dodge, which just makes them way better than any Rebel core trooper unit at the moment, in my opinion. And, if you have to deck out the Rebel troopers to be like 80-something points to have like a heavy and then a captain and then outmaneuver. And then with a Pike, you're only... If you wanted a super nice decked out with even a surge token, that's like 80-something points as well, 86 points. So it's kind of almost not as good as a Pike, but Rebels need something else, and the red dice saves with the Mandos and Ahsoka and the Jedi are perfect for Rebels. But it's just hard to fit everybody in like that.
Yeah, I definitely think they should probably bring Vigilance back down. I don't understand why they made it 12 points. It's kind of
it's too high.
overkill. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was expecting them to do like 7 or 8 points, you know,
Yeah.
to really restrict, like maybe taking like not taking a heavy or not taking a light or some sort of add-on or some sort of other like add-on to a unit. And then they made it 12 points. And now you're like, okay, well, that's like maybe an extra like light slot for a core trooper. So I think the cheapest one is like 7 in Rebels, like the regular extra dude, no nothing special, 7 points I think.
It's almost 2 guys.
Yeah, that's almost 2 guys. Like what the heck? Like I'm trading entire dodges for my entire army for almost 2 guys. Like that doesn't make any sense. I think they probably
It's more expensive than Force Push. I mean, it's not better than Force Push. No way.
No. It's not better than it's not even better than Burst of Speed. Granted, Burst of Speed's a one-time use, but if you have somebody like Maul, that's 2 range 3 moves.
Burst of
still have
Speed
an
could
extra
be,
action.
yeah, Burst of Speed should be 8 points, I think. Just like Vigilance could be 8 points too. Just like up close and personal, like it's good, but it's not Force Push good.
Right.
Yeah. Well, at least Burst of Speed at 10 points is like steep, but it doesn't hinder you taking anything else. Like it's like, okay, well, I won't take a light or I won't take offensive push on this guy. No biggie. Whereas it's like if I have Vigilance in the Rebels and I'm like, dang, I can't fit like a whole core unit with an extra dude because I have everything else. Like you have Inspire too to get those, everybody kind of just not panicking. So I mean, taking Inspire 2 really hinders taking Vigilance. And then if you take both, it's pretty expensive. So
Yeah.
And then I think that the third best for Rebels would be Cassian, just because you can also bring K2 at that point. And then I think that a Cassian K2 Ahsoka will destroy a lot. I know that she's got the teamwork with Sabine with a command card, but with the fact that she has no Master of the Force, sadly, which is weird, that you've got Cassian has a 3-pip that allows everyone to recover, and then you also have Ahsoka's 3-pip that allows her to recover. So that's 2 different turns that you can recover with her, and then you can keep K2 next to her the whole time, just feeding her dodges and an aim if she needs, and then it kind of reduces her 2-pip because no one's going to be shooting at K2, but if you were to have other people surrounding her and K2, they would also benefit from those dodges, and her Guardian too. But obviously, I don't know if you'd want to spend Guardian 2 on Ahsoka and take extra wounds when you kind of need her for that 1-pip at some point. But if you were to bring Cassian, K2, and all of them, it would be easier to bring the Force Barrier, because then you can recover that. And then it would also be easier to bring, obviously Force Push and other Force powers that extinguish. But I think Force Barrier will benefit big time with Cassian, K2, and Ahsoka, just because that extra free recover and protecting any kind of vital asset would be 100% easier. And giving them a dodge and then using Force Barrier, you're protecting a whole unit by 3 hits at least. So
there may be an instance where, and I kind of want to see if I can experiment with this. But you were saying Cassian, K2, and Ahsoka. You could probably get some use out of K2's 2-pip, where he has Guardian 4.
Yeah, the 3 pip.
Right?
I think it's a 2-pip. Yeah, he has Guardian 4, so you could basically flip flop, have take Ahsoka's 2-pip, Guardian them, especially if you're doing recover. I think they have.
Sorry.
So if you
I
have
thought you meant
recover,
sacrifice.
yeah, one of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can go in there and have them both guarding each other, and if you're trying to grab a middle point or do something, once you interact with that incognito token's gone. And so as soon as that's gone, you can use Ahsoka's 2-pip to Guardian him and then let him take whatever after that. And then if he has all those wounds, you can just have him Guardian Ahsoka. I think that's a pretty fair trade-off.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Because he would have the Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have the Guardian 4 for the turn, and then if you were to defeat him, you could just completely protect Ahsoka for the rest of the round. And then you keep moving in as far as possible with Ahsoka. That would protect her and get her in, especially with Burst of Speed. And maybe you've used, K2's 3-pip to protect her for the entire round. Man, she's going to go ham.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Just a free bag of nothing. It's all right, cool. He took some wounds. All right, die for me, I guess.
And
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought about that. We were talking about, because I remember somebody was saying that there's not going to be that much use for Ahsoka's her other 2-pip with her Guardian, but maybe there's a situation where you build a list to have K2's 3-pip to have them both guarding each other. Maybe
you want to bring Cassian anyway, because Cassian and Ahsoka have great synergy. So
Cassian's 3-pip, and get her that free recover.
Yeah, because Cassian does very, very well for other operatives and special forces. And so if you are ever trying to bring Luke, I feel like Cassian and K2 would be able to support Luke very well with that free recover and giving Luke those dodges and aims, and or Ahsoka. And I think, if a lot of people learned how to get that combo working very well, it would, there's a lot of different ways that I think Cassian, K2, and Ahsoka or Luke will just work out very well, just because Cassian, again, is an operative stronghold person, or one who really supports other operatives and special forces. And so now what we can do is the top 3 units you'd like to see for each faction. Now, we can add Shadow Collective to this one because, Shadow Collective is small. You could say there's top 3 units in there, like Maul, obviously, and then, Gar Saxon's okay. I don't know if he's the best. And then you still have the bounty hunters in there. And Mandos are great if you can use them properly. You don't want them rolling for any defense. You want to keep them as out of the line of fire as much as you can, get them in, and then shoot when needed. And that's why, it's tough to say that they're one of the best units and or there's a top 3 in there. So possibly the units you'd like to see in Shadow Collective, we'll go with that one first. And obviously Gamorreans, I think, would be perfect, and or the Pirates and Hondo, obviously they would be great. Yeah.
no questions asked.
Right.
No second thoughts. Hondo every day.
Yeah. Hondo.
Need those pirates in there, man.
Yeah, man. With the Electro staff, with that scene that he battles Kenobi. Oh man, I want to do that.
And I think that they could do a lot with that. Obviously, you're probably going to be able to get some more melee-focused units then in Shadow Collective. Because, you've got heavy close-range firepower with the Black Sun. You've got heavy long-range firepower with the Pikes. But now you've got only kind of maybe the Mandos and Maul for really good melee units. So maybe something a little bit more would help. Like the Gamorreans and or, like you just said, the Pirates with the staff.
Yeah. I think pirates are gonna bring like a unique mechanic. I mean, you could do like cache. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Cash
Like
aim or
Cash.
yeah, cache. They could have like a stealing mechanic, like with the steal like green tokens or something. Maybe something with placing extra objectives that they can capture, like extra goodies from that one condition card. So drop supplies or something. Wait,
prepared
what's the name of
supplies, the
supply drop? Yeah,
supply drop. Nice.
like yeah, there was some extra tokens that they can grab them more early, for extra. I mean, they're pirates, they like goods. So I think if they have some kind of mechanic that uses that, like that really shows they're in for it for the money, I think that would be so awesome.
I agree. I wonder if anyone in Shadow Collective could ever have infiltrate. I wonder if one of them could do it.
Shadow Collective. I think the only way to do that is to take Maul's 2-pip from
Right.
Separatists, which
That-
would give you that. But yeah,
That and or Cad Bane's kind of 3-pip and doing that, but I didn't know if they'd maybe have like pirates who could infiltrate or, yeah, I can't think of anyone else right now. Maybe Hondo
Yeah.
because he's always played both sides, and so maybe he can
Yeah.
be on the field with, you know,
no, give Black Suns infiltrate.
No.
yeah, or a command card, that allows core to infiltrate for that first turn or whatever turn. Yeah, so like if you divulge it, maybe it gives your whoever it is, maybe Hondo, and maybe you can give 2 other pirates or 2 other core units infiltrate, and then
Mhm.
almost similar to scouting party, but on a command card.
Like they're doing an ambush or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome. That would be a cool concept.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, what do you think about the top 3 or figuring top 3 unit or not top 3? I keep saying that. Three more units you'd like to see in CIS.
Oh, I already know them. My boy Jango Fett. Jango Fett is one of my favorite characters. I would like to see a vulture droid and maybe like deck him out like an airspeeder. Give him search crit, like some kind of mechanics. I mean, it can be expensive, like the AAT. I don't mind. Vulture droids are iconic. Like they can fly. They can have the standing tank modus. So that's really what I wanted to see. And Genosians, but they're already announced. So I'm gonna go with another Grievous, General Grievous, so he gets the 6 command card treatment, because General Grievous just needs, I mean, I love General Grievous.
He's
needs to
tough
be
to go
better.
up against. That's 8 health, and then block. He's got the surge to block if he needs it, and then it's just his courage value. If they could bring up that courage value somehow, or at least
Yeah, or bring down his cost. I don't
Mhm.
mind.
that would be
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
What about?
Or
feel
give him
that.
3 new command cards. That's
Or
good
make
too.
him an operative.
Mhm.
Make
Yeah.
him an operative with a different kind of different price. Maybe a little. Maybe you could like swap the health. Maybe bring him down to like 6 health. Maybe keep the courage there, and then give him 3 new command cards. I mean, he's already pretty selfish in his own command cards, so I don't see why you would just give him another 3 set of command cards, maybe that are a little bit more geared towards his like in your face kind of play style. Maybe one of his command cards gives you infiltrate. I don't know. That'd be pretty good.
Well, and I think the other thing on Geonosis was not the spider droids that we have already, but the taller ones, the bigger ones with the dish on top.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
the-
like
this
the-
is at the bottom. With the long legs. Yeah, the regular spider droids. I
Mhm.
forgot what their name was. Let me Google it real quick.
Or even the crab droids, like on what was it? Utapau?
Oh yeah, those are awesome
Those
too.
things too.
I'm trying to think.
I would say
Homing
those-
spider droids is the big one.
That one, and there was another one I think for CIS that I can't quite remember. Oh, we need the not the Mon Calamari, but the shark guys from the underwater episode of the Clone
Oh
Wars.
yeah. Mhm.
You know, we can start seeing some of those for CIS, and then maybe the Mon Calamari or so for the for Gar, and or the other bad fish dudes, the ones that were in like Mando.
Corrin.
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 Yeah, I think those could also be on the CIS side. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That'd be pretty
They
good.
could be double for Shadow Collective too, because a lot of them were pirates
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. All
I see
right.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Any other CIS that you'd like to see?
Dirge.
Yeah, honestly, maybe some more. It doesn't make sense. I mean, they had a lot of bounty hunters, even like in the Clone Wars series. So, I mean, I think if they had a lot more bounty hunter operatives in CIS, I think it'd be pretty good. I mean, Cad Bane ran
Orosine.
with a lot of them anyways, so
Yeah,
why not?
who was the CIS bounty hunter with the helmet that he could throw with a dog or the wolf? Yeah,
Oh,
one who tried to assassinate
Uh,
Padme.
yeah, I mean, his name's blanking on me right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, that dude was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he's a sharpshooter, freaking like sniper guy from far away. He's got a helmet. You know, he should totally be part of CIS.
There you go. Give him an
Operative.
operative. Give him
Yeah.
surge to block. That'd be crazy. Well, probably white dice, but still.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about for Republic? What are 3 units or so that you'd like to see for Republic?
More Jedi kind of
Mace Windu.
things. Yeah, even if it's like yeah, Mace Windu more named Jedi, I think, or even not named Jedi. I think we had this conversation in the Discord too, of like having
Yeah.
them as an operative unit or even as a special
Special forces.
forces.
Yeah.
Maybe just, I mean, you already see the way that the Inquisitors are built for Empire now. They're going to be in like pairs of 2. So I don't know if it's going to be like a Clan Ren or like a Inferno Squad kind of build where you have to take like a random person and then have them as 2 heavies. I think that would definitely work. You can kind of like counter it with like Gar for like the Jedi Temple Guards. Like that, I think that'd be pretty cool. I've seen some custom cards like that. Or, and this may not be a unit, but having the ability to take kind of like Shadow Collective, where you can take 2 operatives and 2 commanders and like interchange them. Like, I don't see a problem with having 1 Jedi with 2 clone commanders. Like, I really don't see a problem with that. I feel like it's pretty restrictive, and I don't think it would break the game that much. My
It would
personal
be good.
opinion. You could
Yeah.
take like Obi-Wan with 2 clone commanders, or Obi-Wan with, Cody
Cody
and
and
a
a
regular
generic.
clone commander. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I think you can make some. I think you can make something work like that.
Yeah, because I don't think it would break the game to have up to 4 commander operative slots for Gar, just because, one, they're already so expensive, so it's not like you're going to be able to fit a lot in there, but you're also going to be able
Yeah.
to finally get almost a thematic list, but just a better list overall with more commander and operatives, because you have a ton of commanders for Gar. Not really operatives, you just have Padme and R2, I think, for operatives for
Yeah.
Gar, which is really
Those
sad.
are the only 2.
And I think,
Yeah.
maybe some of the generic Jedi could be part of the operatives, and then maybe you create a Geonosis battle force where you could have multiple Jedi at once. Because, kind of like, the whole Yoda bringing the clones to begin with and surrounding the Jedi to protect them. I feel like if they had a battle force for that, then they should have a ton of generic Jedi you should be able to bring, which would be
Yeah.
so much fun.
If they do that, they're just printing free money for themselves. I mean, everybody's gonna buy those 100%. I'm sure people who don't play Gar are gonna buy them just to paint them.
Yeah. And even if it's not like quite generic Jedi, you could kind of do some of the ones that were in the movie and then just put them in a bundle and then kind of pick and choose, kind of like the Super Tac droids. You had a few of
Yeah.
them, so why not just do that for the Jedi?
Female ropes and male ropes, and then just a bunch of custom hats, like they did it with the swoop bikes. I mean, that's possible, I'm sure.
Yeah, or even throw in some of the Senate guards, like the guys in the blue armor that aren't clones.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah,
pretty cool. I've seen
yeah, those are cool.
the 3D prints on Etsy.
Mhm.
That'd be pretty cool. Could be like almost like an Imperial Royal Guard.
Right. I think those and the Jedi Guard or the
Temple,
Temple
Guard.
Guard
Yeah.
would be fantastic special forces for Gar.
Yeah. The temple guard never leave the temple though, so
The IRG never really left, much of other than the Death Star, kind of where we see them the most. But
all right, fair enough.
Just have a Death Star following them the entire way.
right,
No, this might break the game, but give me the actual lat gunship.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Break everything. Please give me
I,
that.
I don't think that's possible. I think they should do like a terrain piece with the lad. That's more realistic. I mean, I agree with you. They should have the real lad Bullet Ellie is just like not doing it for me.
It's not either that or upgrade the lat to have like a little bit more offensive capability. Another one of my random gripes: Hound and Grizzer is pretty good on the lat, but it costs something to put 4 observation tokens in there. I think it should natively have, or if you have them, give them like a free action to observe. Maybe not observe 4, but like observe 2. I think it's kind of ridiculous to have an action to observe. That's just my opinion. But
Can you imagine having observe? So imagine having, what is it, ground or which one is he?
Hound and Grizzer.
Yeah, so have him with Cody, and then you've done an action to put observe 4, and then you play one of his command cards that allow you to do free actions twice. That's of like observe 8 on.
Observe 8, and then you just get impact 8 on something.
And
Dude,
also,
heck
I wonder if that stacks. So it just says if you spend an observation token, right? Because I haven't quite
Mhm.
looked at it or tried to think about the two come together. But if you wound up playing maybe his 1 or 3 pit, ordered the lat, and the card, I don't know if it just says if you spend observation tokens, not Cody's observation tokens, but if you just spend observation tokens, that gives you either suppressive or impact. So if you had observe 8, basically, then you're gonna, I'm assuming, either suppress the heck out of a unit, or if it's impact for each one you spend, that's insane. So imagine combining the lat observe 4 with Cody's observe 2 times 2 with his free action twice.
Yeah, that'd be kind of broken. I don't know if it does stack. Honestly, I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at that certain command card, but it'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe not a free action. Maybe observe 2. Well, that's a little bit broken, but
yeah, because
observe
let's
2, I
see,
think.
his 1 pit, it says during his activation, Clone Commander Cody can perform his free actions up to 2 times. When a friendly unit declares an attack against an enemy unit that has an observation token, you can spend the token. So if you do, so it doesn't specify that if you've used observe from the lat, that you can't also use those for the impact or suppressive. So you could technically have Cody direct the lat, and then have the lat do its actions to move forward and do the observe 4, and then eventually you go with Cody after that, do the observe actions twice. Now you've got 8 observation tokens on either the Dark Troopers or whoever you're trying to take out. And each time that you do spend one of those observation tokens, you can gain impact 1, and now you've got 8 units, or your entire round, if you were to just spend one per unit, that's impact 8 at some point.
Yeah, the only bad thing is you get suppressive if it's a unit trooper, and then impact 1 if it's a vehicle. And droid troopers are trooper units, so you're trying to suppress. You're basically trying to suppress infinite courage dark trooper, which
you can't suppress them.
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't work.
Well, maybe if it was on a tank instead of the Dark Troopers, you would have that impact 8 at some point.
Maybe they just need to make it to where you choose either suppressive or impact 1. If that's the case, then I would definitely observe the life out of a dark trooper and just be like, all right, cool.
Oh yeah,
get out of here.
So with Rebels, I think the 3 that we need to see, man, that's a tough one, honestly.
I want to say Chopper.
Yeah,
Chopper and the Twi'lek. What was her name again?
Hera. We need the Ghost Crew.
Hera.
For sure.
Hera with counterpart Chopper. I want to see that. Like, Chopper is the best thing ever. Highest kill count. Non-combat droid in the lore. Like, he's awesome.
Yeah, I would suggest that, we have the Ghost Crew and that Chopper is a counterpart, not a detachment. Or, actually, yeah, a detachment could be okay for Chopper, kind of like K2. And the fact that maybe he's also similar to... No, I guess you can't have him similar to R2, like healing other stuff. But I think that Rebels are missing a vehicle leader. They've got lots of, they've got Cassian for operatives. They got Leia for core. You don't really have anything for support or heavy, kind of like Veers on the Empire side. So I think Hera would be a perfect vehicle person like Cody. And maybe be able to give more support to the speeders or, whatever else is on the heavies for Rebels.
Speeder, bus, the land speeder. any of the ATRTs.
for supports,
What
and
else do
then
they
you've
have?
got
Yeah.
the
Swoop bikes.
swoop bikes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think being able to have Hera coordinate or direct or have some sort of command cards that help out the heavies would be great, because obviously she's, a commander for
Hmm.
ships, for flying stuff, and Chopper there
Yeah.
could either help the other vehicles, which is why I said a counterpart or detachment with heal, like, or repair, I should say. That would be absolutely perfect, because I think at some point we should be
Yeah.
able to get Zeb and Ezra and
Yeah.
Kanan.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or you could almost kind of make it like Iden with ID10.
Mhm.
Have him there. That'd be pretty cool. I think they should probably give her some. I think hot take here. They should probably give everybody from that Rebels series a teamwork card. Like I think they should all have a teamwork card.
Teamwork. Yeah.
Yeah, like Hera could have a teamwork card with Sabine and Kanan, and then Kanan can have one with Hera and Ezra, and then Ezra can have one with Sabine and Kanan.
Or just teamwork for the whole
The
crew.
whole thing, yeah.
But then
Yeah, you know what?
limited
That's
for
better.
once.
Teamwork.
Once each
everything.
round. Like
Because
per unit.
I think what we're going to wind up seeing is they're coming out with the Bad Batch, and so I'm assuming
Mhm.
that the Ghost crew could be very similar format that of
Yeah.
the Bad
Yeah.
Batch.
Definitely. Yeah. I totally agree.
Mhm.
And I mean, if there are these, you saw Zeb, like a little bit of him in the,
Mando.
yeah, in Mando. So I mean, they hinted at Thrawn returning, so this would be the best moment to bring those units in.
Yeah, I honestly think this is a little off topic from Legion, but I think, they mentioned they mentioned at the beginning of the episode about Mandalore, and then they went to Mandalore, and then they've also introduced Thrawn into the Hera, and Ahsoka series, I should say. And I think they should, if they're going to top the Luke episode, the last episode of season 2, if they're going to try and top that, they're going to need to introduce Thrawn and the Mythosaur again in the last episode, so that way when Ahsoka comes, everybody has seen kind of Thrawn's entrance, and they've already hinted at it with. So they at the end of the last episode, they were like, "Oh, Moff Gideon again," blah blah blah. He winds up showing up in the next episode. They mentioned Thrawn this episode. He might come up at the end of the next episode. So I'm expecting Thrawn.
Yeah, it would be, you would break the internet. You could almost have it like mirror Luke's, where at the end of season 2 he came in and saved everybody, and you have a situation where they're about to get Moff Gideon, and then because I think in that episode Moff Gideon was also like, "Oh, he's not even here, bro. Like he's never here," and then he's about to lose, and then who comes in?
Yeah.
Thrawn, and then just that's it. This is like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they gotta wait
Correct.
another 2 years before that's resolved.
Man, I've been waiting forever for Thrawn. I've been waiting forever for this.
Dude, yeah. Even seeing Zeb for like 20 seconds was enough.
Less.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. No, I think that they're doing a really good job with the shows. I didn't really care for one of the episodes or two of the Mando series. Is just kind of slow, and they could have done so more. They could move this show a little bit farther along, but oh well, whatever. But for more, Rebel units besides the Ghost crew and Hera and Zeb and all of them, definitely Kanan and Ezra. We definitely need them. What other units do you think, or what other maybe even ranks, like special forces or operatives or support units or anything like that, that we haven't seen that Rebels have? Because I'm having a blank.
I think they're pretty good, honestly, on the special forces kind of side, because they have a decent amount. They have Wookiees, and they have the Commando Strike teams. They have the Pathfinders, which another gripe. I think they're also underused. I think with their infiltrate and their danger sense, they're pretty good. But maybe just adding another sort of animal trooper.
We got
instead of
Ewoks.
the Riders,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
I have a good one for special forces. Brother Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're iconic from the original Battlefront 2. They could do such cool mechanics with them, and There are in the original movie, like they mentioned them, but like a lot of them died for the information for the Death Star
Yeah.
information. So, I mean, yeah, they could be in there.
Hmm.
I think that would be fun.
Who was that again?
The Brodran spice, Brodran. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how to spell them.
Mhm.
But
I know what he's
I'm-
talking about though.
Good car. Star Wars.
Rebels are
They may be a little bit obscure, but
operatives.
Yeah, we do have they do have quite a lot of operatives. Like you have Chewie, K2, Ahsoka, Luke.
Bolton spice. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe some pilots. When I know that maybe they could. We've got the fleet troopers, so why not just have like a corps or special forces or something like that of just regular pilots? Because Hera was a pilot, and if she comes out, and she does stuff with vehicles, then it would be also cool to have other random pilots there or something like that. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Like have a
Maybe-
repair one in there or something.
Mhm.
That would be cool.
Maybe even give them their own speeder. Every faction has their own speeder. Shadow
Yeah.
Collective has the Swoop Bike Riders. Granted, they're rogues. So if you wanted to take more than one in any other faction, like Rebels or Gar, you would have to have network connections to take more than one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they should probably get their own bike because they're pretty lacking in that. Granted, they do have the Tauntauns, but they're pretty expensive, even fitting two in a list. Even before the points change, I knew somebody that ran like a quad Taunt list that was nasty before all the updates and changes. But I think they would be okay with their own bike unit. I mean, CIS has one, GAR has one, Shadow Collective has one, Empire has one. I feel like they're severely lacking in a Speed 3 vehicle like that. Not including the Tauntaun Riders, because those in itself are pretty broken sometimes.
Right.
It feels like.
Yeah.
And then Empire. So I'll go over a quick few. I mean, I think I was saying earlier the Mamban or the Mud Troopers would be amazing to have. The flying stormtroopers from Rebels, the jet troopers, I think they were, would be amazing to have. Probe droids would be pretty cool to have. Thrawn would be amazing to have.
Yeah, I think Empire is pretty well rounded, honestly. They have a lot of operative units. They have a decent amount of core selection units. Special forces.
Yeah.
Even they're heavy in supports. They're pretty stacked, honestly. Maybe giving them another type of support would be maybe something. I don't know.
That's something I would like to see. Like it's not even hard for them to do a battle force where you can take Darth Vader and the 501st clones, like at the beginning of the Galactic Civil era, like even before it was a civil war, like just Empire. That would be so cool.
Yeah, and I bet we'll probably see a few more, units coming from Empire from that time period. I know the Bad Batch is introducing a lot of stuff, which is really cool, and so hopefully we get a lot of stuff from that beginning Imperial remnant or the Imperial time, the reign of the Empire. I think in Rebels there was another little bounty hunter that helped Thrawn or worked with Thrawn, especially in that last episode. I forgot what his name was. The little
Rook.
Yes, him.
That dude.
He would be awesome. Maybe like have a command card where he goes invisible for a second, or incognito. That would be pretty tight. Because he's good at melee, and his little thing transforms into like a little gun that he holds.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nasty.
Yeah. But
Pretty good. Yeah, Empire's pretty rounded out. I think they made top 8 in Worlds and an Empire list 1. So I think there's definitely units that they could have, but I think they're in such a good position that it's like they have so many things to pick from and so many command cards that are pretty good. Even just like taking the general Imperial officers somewhat decent. I think the best one, like generic, is Pinned Down. That thing is ridiculous.
yeah, that's a good one, especially when you're bringing the Dark Troopers, or you're bringing a double heavy list, or even the because I think it's support as well. So even bikes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Give it to your bikes. You can give it to your E-Webs, your Dewback Riders, literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I think the what Veers is to Pip. Someone was mentioning that it just if a vehicle gets an order, it gets a
It
dodge
gets outmaneuver.
and outmaneuver. So if you had HQ uplink on a few different things, they're giving themselves an order, so they can also benefit from that card as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a really cool little off beat thing or off topic thing.
Yeah, speeders with that maneuver is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You just compulse, dodge, shoot, and then you have cover one with the dodge that could cancel crits.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly decent.
Yeah, and you get that dodge at the beginning of the turn whenever you get that order. So that's really nice.
And you have 2 dodges and cover. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, so basically, the last thing that we kind of want to go over and talk about is the Discord and kind of some of the things that we want for the Discord and kind of want to see in the Discord. And, if we just take a look at it, we've got quite a few people in there, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I forgot exactly how many we have. We've got, let's see, 21 online, so 100 and,
120, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
120. So we've got quite a lot of people here, and we've got a TTS. So, like, if you're ever looking for a game online, we've got a little room where people can stream or at least, start looking for a game. We've got the Hobby Hut, which we are looking for maybe a single day, or people who want to kind of lead a hobby time. So whether you're painting or putting something together, if you want to head in there and start hanging out with each other, that would be perfectly cool. I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff that people can chat about or get more involved with. We kind of want to make this a little bit more where people, I've got a Shatterpoint and an MCP channel in there just to kind of make sure that we're talking Star Wars and MCP in case anyone wants to be there. But for the most part, I was originally thinking that this would be kind of like a cool way to submit a list that you want people to look over. And since it's growing, you've got a whole bunch of different people. And I posted, a survey online not too long ago that actually had shown how many people are either new or all been here for a while and playing for a while, and majority of the people have just started, and that's pretty cool. It's what I would expect from having a kind of like a channel dedicated to just building a list and crafting different lists to kind of explain what each unit can do and do with each other and how they kind of work synergistically. Because when I first started playing the Shore Troopers, I was like, oh man, they're so cool. They do so much. They've got a mortar that goes at this far, but it is a detachment. So how does this work? How do you play them when you can add a shore, but then a mortar pops up afterwards, so you can't have like a mortar. So I wanted to kind of show, these are the ways that you would play with them and or combine them, and just wanted to. That was the whole point of this. So if there's a way that everyone knows, like, hey, I've got a Rebel list, I'd like people to kind of check it out, see what it does, and if you guys have any ideas as to what to add to that, let me know. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always post it. Like, we're all super open in the Discord, like to talk, explain rules, like anything, send a personal message, throw it in a board, everything's fine. Like, I believe we helped a lot of people get into this hobby more, and for me personally, that's always a plus because I really love this hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have, like Zargo and Onion and Tyson and let's see, who else is there? We got lots of CK Lingy or C Clingy and Shadow Ranger for a second. I'm just trying to go through and see about these guys. Like, you see a lot of people who are in here, but it's cool to kind of meet at least Emperor Atlantis and Anthony. It's kind of wonderful to meet you guys, and I'm sure it's awesome for that everyone else can actually get to kind of put a face to who is behind the names in the Discord and who's helping, and kind of get a little background between what they've done and what they've played. Mm-hmm. And if people like this and kind of want to see us keep talking, and I just think it's really cool that the Discord and everyone in the Discord's coming together to create and talk Star Wars Legion, because that was the whole point of the Discord, was to, post lists and talk Legion. So it's kind of cool. I'm glad that you guys are here, and I hope that the Discord keeps growing and that more people keep using it and or talking up, speaking out, and get on the Hobby Hut or play TTS. I kind of want to spice it up. So with that, I know Anthony is donating. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I had messaged you separately, I think the other night, just to kind of grow and foster the community. I think it'd be pretty good to give back. So I'm kind of partnering with Shadow Scout here to give away a Battle Force box. I don't know if it's going to be something along of giving an Amazon gift card, but I do like the idea of trying to find a local game store, just because I like shopping local and I like local businesses. So the more that we can help local businesses, I think the better. It kind of just keeps morale up. So I think if there's a way that we can figure out logistically how to get to that certain game store and order it for the person or get a gift card with the funds to purchase that battle box, I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd be really good. And I'd be lying to say that the community that I have around me, they've been super helpful with people getting in. There's definitely been people that have sold me stuff secondhand or brand new for way less than it's worth, or even just giving me units that they're not going to use for like free just to get me into the hobby. And I think that's pretty good. So if we can kind of pay that forward to help people get into the hobby, because I'm not going to lie, it is pretty expensive. It can tally up a lot, and if somebody's kind of on the fence about it, but they really like it, I think that'd be a pretty good way to help somebody kind of like get in and kind of just have it on a small scale before committing to it financially at least.
Yeah, and I with the donations that you guys put in the Patreon, I'm using all of that money to just kind of give it back to you guys and to make sure that people are able to get more Legion things with it. And so having this giveaway kind of deal with Anthony and everything that we're doing, we want to offer this battle box to everyone who either wants to I think we're gonna say joins the Discord or Patreon mostly.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's like a either way, you can kind of set it up to where it's whoever's like comments on the YouTube channel, enters the Discord, or even joins a Patreon. If you do Patreon, you can kind of give extra entries. I think just as extra incentive. It doesn't have to be like the highest level; it can just be like the regular entry level. Extra entries like that. So like 1 entry or 2 entries for the Discord, 3 if you're subscribed or if you're commenting on something, and then like 4 or 5 if you're like on the Patreon list, something like that. That way everybody can kind of get a feel for it and everybody can kind of participate in it, and it's not like paywalled, everyone gets a fair shot. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. So we'll say that, if you, get into the Discord, you'll get a point. That if you subscribe and leave a comment, you get a point. And then if you join the Patreon, we'll give you a few more entries just for that, just in case, because, you're paying for it. And obviously we want to be able to reward people who are trying to donate and build up the community with this battle box. And so this is a great idea, and I think that it will help grow the channel. And if we can get a lot of you guys to sign up for the Discord for free, and then subscribing is free, leaving a comment about what you kind of like, and or even adding to this conversation would help you get in as well, because we want people who are active and who want to kind of grow as well with this community. And so being part of the Discord helps everybody grow and kind of know more. Subscribing just kind of allows you to make sure that you're staying in contact with us, and then joining the Patreon just means that you are absolutely willing to support this community that we have growing here now, in the Shadow Clan or Clan of Shadows Discord and the Shadow Scout YouTube. And so we do want to reach out to you guys and help, and just like Anthony said, pay it forward. And thanks to him and the donations from him and everybody else, I'm thankful. I know all of you guys are probably thankful to be a part of a community that's growing, and it's just cool to get everybody who's from the Discord to chat and come together as like a community.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
yeah, well let's see. I was trying to think if there's anything else that you guys would like to add.
No, but yeah, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
another
We're
fun.
gonna,
Yeah.
or Anthony is going to try and get a battle channel or a battle
Mhm.
report channel going with some Star Wars Legion content. And so he'll be able to post a video soon. And at some point, I've tried recording and screen recording my TTS games a while back. Some of them have just turned out to be really slow and glitchy looking, so I've been trying to
Mhm.
play more in person. And so hopefully, I'm having someone this weekend come and play and introduce them into it, so we can create a channel with multiple different battle reports coming out as much as we can to consistently give you guys more Legion content and keep growing and hopefully getting to go to different tournaments together. That would be a lot of fun, and putting a team together that eventually would be fun. But right now, I think growing the community and trying to get everybody involved and talking more and learning more is kind of what I've wanted to do since the beginning. So yeah, that's kind of like the plans that we have for the Discord, and that's mostly it. I want to really thank Emperor Atlantis, Lucas, and I really want to thank Anthony, the Chosen One. If you see them in the Discord, just feel free to say hi and what you thought about this video. And I really appreciate you guys spending the time to do this. And hopefully, we'll be able to do this more and kind of keep talking about different topics. And yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, or if you see me in person, say hi. I know somebody in the Discord actually is at my local scene, so it's pretty fun.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Well, all right, guys. I'm Shadow Scout. And
Oh. Emperor Atlantis. Bye.
Chosen One.
yeah. And this is, we're not the fifth trooper, but this is the Clan of Shadows is what I'll call us for now. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we will see you guys in another video. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Peace.
Peace.